So if you've played Counter-Strike long enough, you've probably seen this door Molotov on Nuke, or this mid Molotov on Overpass, or this 147 flash on Inferno. But do you know what all of these pieces of utility have in common in Counter-Strike? What all of these pieces of utility have in common is they control early round timings on the map that are created by the spawn points that you have in every competitive game. So you've probably seen players on Mirage run up and throw a Molotov toward ramp like this, an HE grenade behind it. And the concept here is you're trying to stop a rush, right? That's the early round timing that you're looking to avoid. But this is only 1/3 of the possible timings in a game. There are mid-round timings when the T's are progressing through a default. There's end-round timings when teams are looking to, execute a bomb site. And these timings kind of create situations for the T's that put them in a certain position based on what they're doing. And you can actually look to understand and master these timings to give yourself an opportunity to find opening kills and an advantage in the late round. So I'm going to go through some of those for you in this video, and I hope you enjoy. But before we get into these, let's have a word from our sponsor. Today's sponsor is Skins Monkey. Skins Monkey is an automated Counter-Strike 2 trading site that provides an instant way to get new skins. One of my favorite things about Skins Monkey is that I can take skins that I no longer want and trade up for a better skin at equal value. If you use code STAMINA, you can get up to a $5 bonus on your first trade. You can also use Skins Monkey to purchase skins, and if you top up your balance, you get a 35% bonus. So head over to Skins Monkey today to make your first trade or purchase. Now back to the video. So when you play the B side on Mirage, it's pretty common to Molotov upper B at the start of every round, right? You typically come to van, jump spot, molly upper B, and by jump spotting, you know that nobody's through your Molotov. Well, now while that Molotov's up, if you get up on van and you HE upper B, as that HE explodes, if you land on balcony, they won't hear you pushing upper B. So now, if you take a little bit of a risk and you push upper B, what you'll find is oftentimes nobody's going to default upper. Well, what the T's are going to be looking to do is they threw a window smoke from spawn or top mid or whatever the case might be. And once they get out mid, they kind of chill here for a bit. And then they're going to go into their next progression, which is smoking window and smoking top con. And typically they're trying to get con control or they're trying to get ladder control. But if you're already in upper right here, when this second progression happens, when they're smoking window and underpass or smoking top con, what you can look to do is you can actually look to phase through here and just drop into underpass, and you can get a really quick timing on that defaulter who's in underpass. But if nobody's even there, you have an even better timing to walk up underpass and flank these players progressing through mid. Now this timing isn't always going to be there, right? You definitely need to figure out, have people been defaulting upper B? Am I playing a team that typically sends a guy upper B? But if you know that this is not happening, during that second progression in mid, you're almost always going to get this kill for free. And a lot of pro players take advantage of this. So on Inferno, it's been pretty common throughout the years to throw a Molotov at the end of long haul at a pretty early timing into the round. And this stops anybody from like rushing up halls, getting into long haul, and kind of peeking you early. But one of the other options that became meta probably a few years ago was Molotoving into bedroom. Now, you used to be able to throw a skybox molly that would land on the balcony, but you can no longer do that. So the only way that you can do it is by coming into boiler like this, aiming right here, and banking the molly into the bedroom. Now, this Molotov will stop any timing from a T jumping into the bedroom like so. And because you are going to throw your molly after they throw their molly, there's pretty much a guarantee that you're always going to beat them in. See, the T's are going to throw this molly at the start of the round. So when you get here, if that molly is landed and then you throw this molly, they cannot be in the bedroom. But this Molotov is going to end first. So now you're able to push up and get to a forward position like this and kind of crouch in here. And when these players look to jump in after the Molotov, you're already in here ripping their head off. Now, if nobody does jump up, after this Molotov, you have this incredible timing where you're able to peek down mid and kind of see anybody coming up mid. Oftentimes, if somebody does come into long haul, you can catch them off guard when they walk into your crosshair. But if nobody's here at all and your teammates are calling that it's like a B push or something like that, you could have a really incredible flank toward the B bomb site, right? So by abusing this timing in bedroom, you're allowing yourself a lot of different options. One thing that teams also do with this is they'll throw this Molotov and they'll have another teammate push long haul, because if you actually have a good spawn and you just run up long haul, you'll beat the T's here and they won't hear you if you start walking towards the end. So with that Molotov up, you could push through and you could look to push through long haul and take a little bit of a risk and catch that guy in the process of jumping up after the Molotov. So this is, again, another one of those little cool instances where you're abusing early round timings and using utility to your advantage to get yourself into a forward position where you can look to make an opening kill. And this is really important when you're playing in pug environments or Premier. So since I already went over your guys' 2 favorite maps in the map pool when you're playing Pugs, let's go over Ancient and show a similar timing that you can abuse. Now many A players will throw a Molotov like this, coupled with an HE grenade like this, and this is going to just stop any early round progression from the T's. But if you were to throw this nade set and you actually pushed up after your Molotov and got up into this corner, one, you have a really nice off angle to play when T's look to enter back into A main. But what's really great about this is it works just like that Mirage timing that I was explaining. Sometimes players will sit outside of mid and they'll look to take a later timing out mid, right? You might throw like a house smoke like this, and then pair it with some flashes over, and they'll look to take mid control. So when you hear that they are progressing out mid, right, you're just listening to the communication from your donut player or your red player saying, hey, they're taking mid. And when you know that this timing is happening, you can actually just look to face here. And at worst, you would have like a one-on-one, right? It's just like pushing up or beyond Mirage. But largely, people aren't defaulting here, especially in a plug environment. So if I get through here on this early round timing, I'm now able to instantly flank mid and catch these players off guard when they're transitioning up catwalk or walking in mid to get toward like red or something like that. Now, you don't have to do this with utility. One great way that people actually will do this is they'll do this on an eco round, right? They'll buy 5-7, they'll rush into close A main. And again, the same concept's kind of true. If anybody walks in here, you have a really good position with the 5-7 to kind of blast them at short range. All of these kills would be a one-shot headshot with the 5-7. But again, if they're progressing out mid, now you can take that little bit of a risk, push through, and a round that might not seem too easy to win because you're on pistols, all of a sudden becomes a dream come true. So while I was recording the part on the A main push, I actually forgot that when I was watching the Zontix demo, I saw him do this actually in their match in the last round of overtime. Now, Zontix is a fairly passive A defaulter, so he actually pushes up the perfect timing to catch Jimmy off guard. But what you'll notice here is in a moment, Exertion and Jimmy are going to look to take mid control. And right as they throw this utility set, Zontix is going to take this exact risk I was talking about. Now, he does meet an unfortunate fate because Jimmy is just hyper aware of this. And maybe he got a little bit CS2'd. But at the end of the day, this is a play that a lot of A anchors are making in their matches at least once or twice a game because it's just so good. But imagine doing this in your Pugs. Like, nobody's even watching it like Gympad is. And that's probably a multi-kill every single time. So the last timing I'm going to show is a late round timing to flank from A main to E box as your opponents are hitting the B bomb site. Now, this is actually one of the quickest flanks in the entire game, just because usually the pathing that you take out of E box and B main gets pretty congested, right? The CTs are fighting from like this back plat area and spawn, and they usually slow you down a ton. And so if you have full A main control at the end of the round, you're able to get a really fast flank off. So one thing I saw from Complexity, and specifically Floppy, was Floppy played most of the round retake in this particular round, and he was just jiggling from back here. Now, in the later part of the round, they heard the T's take A main control. They threw a smoke here, and they mollied like this. And you could assume that the T's could have control. Now, when this happened, Elige actually opted to rotate back toward A, and he came down and he played around here. And what Floppy did was he came up to this position right here. He found this line and he threw a jump throw smoke just like this. Now this smoke is going to smoke the entrance of A main. Now what he did afterward was he just peeked out like this and he threw a Molotov off this wall and it cleared out this baskets angle, and him and Elige just re-aggroed this. And once they knew that A main was clear, when the B started happening in the next 10 to 15 seconds, they just double flanked like this. And this is another timing that you can use in your Pugs, because if you're playing retake back here, you know that if they go B, you're in a safe position, right? You can drop a defensive smoke, you can try to like fight with it, and get a couple of kills. But if they just don't go A and you happen to get this A main utility off around that like 50-second mark, 1 minute mark, and then you hear them going B once you're in A main, you can have a really insane flank onto the B bomb site and secure the round for your team. So at the end of the day, I only went over 4 examples of this, and there are probably 100 across all 7 maps that you could make in your premier matches, Pugs, or team environment. So try to be creative and figure out these timings that you can abuse and really look to have an edge on your opponents. And if you master this, you'll be pretty damn good at the game. I appreciate you guys all for the support. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.